Hi everyone and welcome to my first video on my new channel and welcome to quarantine. We are currently in Korea, South Korea, waiting to get out of quarantine so we can go explore. I kind of wanted to do this video as the first video because when I was researching how to get it and the whole quarantine process, there wasn't like a set video that kind of laid out what happened, so I'm going to try my best to kind of remember it and explain it to you, not in too much depth, but enough that you can kind of know what to expect. And this is true as of September 2021. So first things first, before you go, you need to make sure that you have everything in place. So you need to get, well, depending on where you're from, get your visa. So I'm here for under 90 days. So I am from the UK and I could do the KITA, which is the electronic visa. So I did that one. And then you also need to make sure that you have your PCR test at least 72 hours before you fly. So you turn up, provide your passport, provide your visa and your test, and that should be it, right? No. Not for me. My visa was wrong. I entered in one detail wrong and it was void. It didn't work. So then I had to reapply while I was at the airport. The gate closed, but they held it for me. Anyway, long story short, Harry at Heathrow, thank you so much for your help. I managed to get my visa sorted there and then. I got through, got on the plane, and then it's just a case of enjoying the journey, I suppose. When you're on the plane, they will give you 4 forms to fill in. Now, I did take pictures of all of my forms just for safety reasons, but they will give you an arrival card to fill in, 2 travel declaration forms, and a health declaration form. So you'll be given those, and you have to fill all 4 of those in. Now, I'll check multiple times during the flight that you've got them and that you've filled them in. Then when you land, you come off the plane and join a queue like you normally would. And what they do is that they just check that those 4 forms, firstly that you have them and that they're completely filled in, that no box has been missed. And that's it. They check your passport, they check the forms, and then they'll ask you to install these 2 apps. So once you've got the forms and those apps on your phone, you then proceed to another queue. So at the next queue, this is where you sit down at a table with an official behind a screen and they call your Korean contact. Now, I'd heard of this in a few videos I'd watched, but it didn't come across as seeming really as important as what it was. If you do not have a Korean contact, you need to find one. I luckily sorted one out with my Korean teacher. She has been so darn helpful and so lovely. It's been great. And yes, they tried calling her. They confirmed that I was who I was. I believe they were speaking Korean. And gave me a form and then passed me on to the next queue. So I got up, off I went on to the next queue. Now this next queue, she checks the form the previous guy gave me and then pits me into a colour. So she will give you a lanyard that has a colour on it. So there's red, yellow and white from what I saw. And I believe they represent how long you need to quarantine for. I was red, so I had the lanyard pit around my neck and given another form and then went on. You then go to your baggage claim. You walk out, you're in the big airport, you got your baggage claim, you just kind of do your thing, went off to the toilet, and then I didn't really know where to go from there. I went to the exit because I thought that's where I need to head to. Went to the exit and sure enough there were more men there. They checked my colour, they gave me another form, and then they put me in a waiting area. And then once enough people had built up and there were enough people with colours, then they transferred us across the airport to another waiting pen. It felt like a waiting pen. You kind of walked in and there were lines on the floor matching your colours. You went up, they checked more forms, checked your visa again, checked your passport again, and then they asked you to have a seat in the area that was relevant to your colour. And they had these big barriers around this area. So it was like a little hold-all pen. To that point, it took 2 hours. So I've just summarised it really quickly, but the queues and the checking of the forms and trying to communicate in broken Korean took 2 hours, but it worked. I got to this holding pen bit and it just felt good because I was like, oh, okay, I'm now at the point where I'm waiting for the bus. Now, the bus turned up after a 40-minute wait and we went on the bus. It was then an hour's drive to the hotel. So we got to the hotel and we got escorted off the bus. Our bags got sprayed and we went into the waiting area where there were rows of tables. It felt like a school exam. It was really strange. So we all sat down and we filled in more forms, consent quarantine forms. Then you had to make payment up front for the quarantine. You had to have a test on arrival as well. So we all went to have our tests and we got given our dinners. That was it. You then went to the room and here I've been since then. And here I shall stay until 2 weeks later. So that's about it. I wasn't going into too much depth about the forms. You do get guided through it. I thought it'd be a lot stricter and a lot scarier than what it was, but they were all really relaxed. They were really lovely. They were really helpful. Just make sure you take the time, fill in those forms, and if you don't know, ask a question. And that's about it. That's the process. That's what happens when you get off the plane in Korea, or at least what I went through. So I hope this video might have helped you if you're trying to think about coming here. But yeah, that is it. I am going to do another video this afternoon. I'm trying to keep myself entertained in this room, and I'm going to give you a little tour around. So stay tuned because that video will be coming soon. But yeah, I'll see you for that one. Bye.